Hey, Taurus. Hello, Taurus. What are you doing, Tauruses? I'm just kidding. We're going to do a tarot reading before I bust out into my accents. I'm in a mood today. And we're going to use a new deck that you guys might not be familiar with because I was using the last unicorn deck all last month. This deck we're using is a beautiful orientally artistic deck called the Orion's Animal Tarot deck. It's still going to be the same concept though. I don't know what I'm reading about today so far because I'm shuffling it in front of you, which means we could talk about finances, moving, career, love, relationships, family, friendships, that vacation you want to travel to, whatever it is, we'll find out what it's about once I get out of the shuffling phase and into the dissecting phase, the dissection of symbols and patterns. Tauruses, if you're new here, I'm a little bit funky, a little bit spunky, and I hope you don't mind. But I also read cards from a Gnostic perspective by using the Rider-Waite-Smith interpretation that Arthur Edward Waite gave in 1910 when he wrote The Pictorial Key to the Tarot. I talk a lot about biology in my lessons, psychology in my lessons, science and spirituality merged into one, so I hope you don't mind that as well. And yeah, with all of that being said, I think we'll get into it because we're starting off with some really nifty energy with the Three of Cups in the reversal, the Nine of Cups in the reversal, and the Judgment card. Also, the Hanged Man is in the reversal here. Aren't these beautiful cards? All right. Let's see. The patterns that I have in this. I'm going to say first off, the Nine of Cups is here. It's in the reversal again. Nine of Cups is the card of what's known as wish fulfillment. It's actually the card of getting multiple wishes, but the thing is in the reversal position, there can be an energy of wishful thinking or having your head in the clouds a little bit. Here's the thing though. Sometimes the Nine of Cups has to do with, I know this sounds wild, but loyalty as well as liberty. And it's directly underneath the Six of Cups, which is unity, compassion, sharing, especially when it comes to things of the heart and wisdom. Sometimes this is the card of family, by the way, because on certain tarot decks, there is a depiction of an older gentleman handing a cup to a younger child. And yet, this card of unity is also sitting in the vicinity of the Three of Cups in the reversal, which is a card that typically also means unity or getting what celebratory thing you want, the celebratory thing that your body yearns for and your heart yearns for, but it's in the reversal. So suddenly there's disunity. So there's this part of me that's looking at this right off the bat here, and I'm noticing people who could be together, people who could be together but who are not together. And the Nine of Cups being here to give that reminder of a need to be realistic and not be wishful thinking about the people that you give your loyalty to. The second thing that I'm noticing here is we've got two court cards present. We have the Knight of Wands in the reversal and the Queen of Swords in the upright position. And Arthur Edward Waite, when he described, again, his cards at the time that he made the Rider-Waite-Smith deck, which this deck is based off of, that's why I bring it up so much when I do my readings, he had mentioned that court cards are depictions usually of the energy of people. And in this order, like Pokemon that evolve or are connected to one another, it goes the pages, then evolving or leveling up, you could say, into the knights, then into the queen, and then into the king. And when I see that we have a queen and we have a knight, it makes me feel like this is a matter of more than one person. That's why we have cards of more than one person, and two court cards showing up. So there's some kind of a relation dynamic here. A part of me borders on this could be romantic, ceremonial. Three of Cups is sometimes depicted as people celebrating at a wedding event. And the Six of Cups, for many of you, it could also be not just people who are connected that you want to marry or you want to come together with in a relationship, but people who feel like your family is also here. Okay. That brings me to the Seven of Cups energy next. Seven of Cups in the reversal position. Well, actually, let's describe it in the upright first so that you get a better grasp of it. Because when you have the Seven of Cups, you have put a whole bunch of these cups together. You've set them up in your life, and all of a sudden you come to this position where you say to yourself, can I keep doing what I'm doing with all of these cups? Or are some of these cups going to topple over? Do I have to walk away from some of these cups, right? In essence, the next card, the Eight of Cups, is that moment of walking away. The Seven of Cups is like this deciding moment of which option you're going to take, which path you want to take. And when you have it in the reversal position, there is an increased will or desire to figure that out, to make that decision. It's no wonder, in my opinion, why you have this double energy happening of people coming together and people not coming together, and a card of saying that a decision needs to be made about what path you should go. Should I stay or should I go now? Is kind of the vibe that I'm getting. But it's also connected with the Seven of Cups. Sometimes it's connected to projects and not just people. So for some of you Tauruses out there, you could actively be deciding, like, should I commit or be loyal to staying or going with a particular person? And others of you could be doing that with respect to a certain project that you have. Something that is close to your heart that you have set up. In fact, the Knight of Wands in the reversal, a lot of the times, has a tendency to deal with whether or not they want to commit to something. Because traditionally, again, in terms of what we see in traditional tarot on the Rider-Waite-Smith deck and beyond, the Knight is charging into battle. Like, he is committed to going into battle. He's on the front lines. His horse is galloping to the front lines. He's going to take charge. He's going to win what he wants. He gets his goals. There's no turning back. But of course, in the reversal, there's difficulty that comes up. And you have the Knight of Wands here in the reversal, almost as if to say you're not quite sure if you want to put your foot forward to a certain direction, whichever it is, to go a certain way with a person or to pull yourself back from a person. It's very much back and forth. There feels like back and forth energy that's coming up in this. That's because the Seven of Cups is a card of going back and forth and needing the willpower to make a decision. The Knight of Cups is about going back and forth. And then we have two cards that mean opposite to one another, which is giving me back and forth energy. So that's the third time in this shuffle right here that there's this push-pull going on in this reading. And I think it's likely that it's because the Knight of Wands, when it's in the reversal, it refers to division and rupture. Again, this is what happens if you were to think of that original Knight of Wands on the battlefield. Why do you think they go into war? It's because of a division that's happening. Two camps, two groups of people, or two thoughts warring against each other doesn't work out. One of those will try and come out on top or reign supreme. So you could have people going against each other. Someone's trying to reign supreme. Or you can have two modes of your own self battling against each other. One of them wants to come out on top and reign supreme. So when there's a rupture happening, it becomes hard to commit to which way to go, but also extremely necessary to have the willpower to make a decision, lest, and here's the Judgment card, lest judgment come in a poor way if you remain stagnant and don't do anything. In part, it's like the universe has the ability to almost put a judgment on you if you don't move, if you don't get out of the stagnant energy or the indecisiveness. And then you yourself could almost come down upon yourself with a bit of a judgment for choosing, well, or not choosing to do something different than what you're doing. Remember, not taking any action is in and of itself an action. Not making a decision is in and of itself a decision. Now, I do want to say that this could be the energy of a person that you're looking at. You may be looking at someone and saying, why is this person never just able to get out of their stagnant, same repetitive energy and go forward? You could actually be putting a judgment on somebody else. But one of the things I do like is that the Hanged Man card is here in the reversal. And when the Hanged Man card is here in the reversal, it means you have a new perspective and have mastered some avenue of this entire dynamic. Having a new perspective on either yourself or the path that you want to go, perhaps, or perhaps you're wanting somebody else to change their perspective. Lastly, the Queen of Swords is here, and that is a person who can see the truth of the matter. And I just like the positioning here that the Queen of Swords is actually looking to the disunity. And it's almost like, because it sits underneath the card of a new perspective, I feel like a person who could be playing the part of the Queen of Swords sees the truth so much that they have got a new perspective as to why they had to separate themselves from certain people in their past. It could be that. I feel really connected to that energy. Like, my intuition says that's it. That's what it is. You're going through this phase where you are judging a situation for its truth about why you had to separate from things in the past and who you should continue to give your loyalty to. How to address issues of loyalty with people, or how you can contribute to making sure you are loyal to the right projects in life instead of getting tangled up in things that you should separate from project wise. What I'm going to do though is I'm going to take the rest of this deck here. I'm going to shuffle it a little more. I'm going to get some clarification on some of these cards. Like when it comes to a new perspective, I believe, again, that the new perspective here is this idea of things you've had to separate from in the past. You've seen the truth on those, but let's see what else we have. The Star card is in the reversal. The Star card is touching down on the energy of the Nine of Cups here, because the Nine of Cups in the reversal, like I said, can be wishful thinking or an attempt at bringing something into yourself. Wish fulfillment, goal accomplishment. And the Star card here is actually the opposite sometimes of being wishful thinking when it's in the reversal. It's when somebody has hopelessness. Perhaps the new perspective that you have when you realize there were things in your past that you could not keep with you anymore, for a while gave you a sense of hopelessness. And now once you started to cut through the truth of the matter, you gained the Hanged Man energy of a new perspective on the entire dynamic and are slowly attempting to remove from yourself the sense of hopelessness. I love that the Ace of Wands is here, because that is the second card now connected to the pattern of increasing your willpower, gaining this strength within yourself. I know this whole reading starts off as this idea of like goals or projects or experiences that you've had between you and other people, but there's this fire underneath this reading that's almost like the inspiration or fire of your own willpower bubbling up and something getting lit from within you because of the timeline of events that you've had to deal with in the past, which I really like. Ooh, oh no, some of my cards are inside out. Look at that. Maybe one of my kids grabbed my deck, or maybe I flipped that inside out. Who knows? Let me just see here for a second. All right, we're good. What's the situation about the people you're with or the people you had to separate from? Seven of Pentacles. I wonder if perhaps, and Two of Cups in the reversal. I wonder if perhaps there with the Seven of Pentacles is this idea that there were certain goals of yours that you may have had to separate from or put down because it's over the Three of Cups. Perhaps things regarding people in your life, situations and goals and projects regarding people in your life with the Two of Cups energy, you had to adjust. Like, again, projects and goals, things you wanted to achieve for your own self, you had to adjust in life because of the kind of people that you were dealing with. But this one's not necessarily in a negative way. The Two of Cups is like very, very lovely people coming together. But it's almost like it required, in order for you to come together with those people, you had to remove certain people from your past and adjust certain projects or goals that you had in the past to do that. There's another card of inspiration here. This is, again, Page of Wands, Knight of Wands, right? Page of Wands is in the reversal. It is about trying to find the inspiration. Despite what's happened with people that you may have had to separate from, despite what's happened with people that you may have had to try and come together with, again, bubbling under the surface is your willpower here, trying to become you instead of necessarily the person you could be when you're connected to other people. You know what I mean? It feels like individuation here in the words of Carl Jung. Really finding who you are and what willpower and light you're trying to spark with from within you. That doesn't have anything to do with other people. But it's looking at yourself and saying, what is it that I really want? What really lights me up? That's what individuation is about. And following that. Usually, despite what society wants from you. The Seven of Cups in the reversal, when it comes to gaining the willpower, is being connected to the Wheel of Fortune card right now also. In the upright position, and the Wheel of Fortune energy means that this is going to be a process for you. Lighting yourself up from within is going to be a process for you. And this is freaking great. I love this. Your Knight of Wands card is being connected with the King of Pentacles. So remember when I had mentioned that the Knight of Wands wants to go into the battlefield, wants to charge after their goals, go for what they want. They just run into it, but for some reason in yours it was in the reversal. It's sitting in the reversal position, I believe, because your journey is not to become the King of Wands. Your journey is to become the Knight of Pentacles. The King of Pentacles. Ooh, I said Knight of Pentacles. That might be an intuitive hit too. Because Knight of Pentacles always gets what they want. Because they become the King of Pentacles, right? Now, the King of Pentacles is going to take the seeds that they plant in their life and they're going to accomplish their abundance with it. Like a bull that plows the field. That's why the bull is on here, right? They plow the field. They grow, they nurture themselves, and they give themselves that big ass coin right there. I think that what you're going to go through is a potential individuation process over a lengthy period of time. And if you don't know what individuation is, please go to YouTube or go to Google and type in, what did Carl Jung mean when he spoke about the individuation process? It's truly is the way you take old wounds in your life and integrate them to become the best version of yourself in a way where you find your purpose and go along that path instead of just looking at everybody else's purpose, gathering with everybody else's phases in life and places and ideas in life and trying to incorporate them into your own self, becoming what other people want you to be, doing things that other people want, like people pleasing, and doing you to the core of you. This also tends to happen, by the way, when you branch out of society a little bit, when you're that kind of person who wants to have a life, maybe, outside of the box. Some people go outside of the box and maybe they do naturopathic things. Maybe they do somatic things. Maybe they want to own a homestead. Maybe they want 10 acres of land away from the city. Maybe they want to travel for 2 years and tell everybody to bug off. You see what I mean? I'm naming things that are outside of the box. It feels like that's your process, again, with the Wheel of Fortune over a lengthy period of time, because the Wheel of Fortune is the cycle of the heavens. You may find that what you're going to end up going through is the individuation progress and process to take yourself out of wishful thinking, and instead of trying to be loyal to other people's pursuits, you become loyal to yourself. You take the hopelessness of the past, the Star card, and you give yourself your wish fulfillment and become hopeful in who you are. Smells like self-worth to me. I love it. So I think that's what's happening here. I believe the situation where you have come together with people and where you have at times had to separate from people is actually prompting you to go through an increase of self-worth down the road. It's going to be a lengthy process, and it might lead you to an individuation process. Not everybody goes through that, by the way. Not every single person. I mean, like not even half, not even like a quarter of the people on the planet actually achieve individuation. Truly becoming the person that you are supposed to be and acting from that place, and every day walking down to that next place, that next store, that next fun park that you want to go to, that next skill that you want to learn or education path. A lot of people just do what other people want them to become. Or people, they get to their old age and they pass on and they never get there. But I feel like for you guys are actually going to go through a process where you become the version of yourself that everybody talks about all the time. Be the best version of yourself. Be your best, highest self. And instead of just hearing it talked about, you're actually going to put it into action and become that. Your Judgment card is in the upright position, by the way. If it was in the reversal, it would be resistance. I don't think you guys are going to resist that. I think you're going to actively put in place the steps that are required to be the best version of yourself. And if people separate from you, or if people come along for the ride, so be it. And I'm going to leave it off at that. That's a very beautiful thing to do. It inspires people in the world, by the way, when you do stuff like that. Okay, if you're interested in a personal reading, feel free to get a hold of me at the link in my bio or the description below. I have a sale going on right now. I have a sale. It's 3 questions for $20. And but if you don't want to participate in that, feel free to hit me up on TikTok, where there are already videos posted, other free tarot videos or what I post over there. Or if you just want to chat with me, I chat over on Instagram. You can feel free to add me on Instagram because I love chatting with people. I just post about me over there. Nothing fancy. Like I posted a picture of a tree today. Like I'm just a regular human, So, yeah, you can always hang out with me over there if you want. And yes, I will leave you off with that. Many blessings to you, and ciao for now.